This is Toledo SymphonyLAB, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Questwell. Joining me today are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO Zach Vassar, principal second violin and artistic administrator Merwin Hsu, also the TSO's marketing director Felicia Canny, and we have the TSO's music director Elaine Trudel joining us by phone. Hello, Elaine.
Hello.
How are you? You're up in Montreal now, right?
Yes. Just came back from beautiful concerts in Toledo and making some concerts here and going to Ottawa today, actually.
Wonderful.
So, yes.
Well, we're glad that you could join us today because as the 75th anniversary season is drawing to a close for the Toledo Symphony, we thought it'd be fun to do one of these clip shows where we go back and play our favorite clips from this season of Toledo SymphonyLAB, but also talk about some of our favorite moments from the actual season itself, right? So, I think we should jump right into it. Who wants to go up first with their memory of the season, actually talk about something they heard this season? Merwin, you look like you're going to jump in there.
Felicia volunteered.
Felicia's a volunteer. Okay, hang on,
She
Felicia.
wins.
Let me get you a little music here.
Oh, this is so nostalgic sounding.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. How did you know?
Well, the title of it is Nostalgic Piano Music, so
Is it?
perfect.
For me, I guess I have a personal connection with this season only because I was missing from it for a few weeks for maternity leave. So my memory was going with my family of three to what Swan Lake Trudel's debut at the Paris Style. So it was my husband, my 4-year-old at the time, and myself. And then that was a fabulous concert. My daughter loved the ballerinas on stage and thought the percussionists were so cute. And then after maternity leave, I almost felt like I was of course missing something, and I could not wait to get back. So the first chance I got, it was Christmas at the Paris Style. I decided to haul both girls up by myself. My husband was not with me. I took care of everything, packed like a billion diapers, and made it to Christmas at the Paris Style. The hall looked great. It was so wonderful to see all of my friends on stage.
Oh, you're going to make me cry, Felicia.
I just loved it so much.
Yeah.
And I know those aren't, necessarily spotlight events in our season, but
Yeah,
they
it was
were
a
very
wonderful
important to me.
experience.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you told me that you had a couple of favorite clips from the season of Toledo SymphonyLAB.
Yes.
And one of them was also liked by other folks. I know Zach thought that the New Year's episode with Michael Lang was hilarious.
Oh, my gosh.
As did you, Felicia. And was that one of your first episodes coming back from maternity
Yes,
leave?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
I have that clip. I think it'd be fun to listen to a little bit of it. So we'll set the Wayback Machine. This is Felicia's first pick here from Toledo SymphonyLAB archives. Here's your last one. New Year's resolutions date back 4,000 years to the Babylonians. During medieval times, knights had their own New Year's resolution in which they would renew their vow every year to uphold chivalry by placing their hand upon
White satin.
And here's what the vow was called. Was it called the Swan Vow? Shaking your head,
Peacock
Felicia. Vow or the Phoenix Vow?
The phoenix rising from the ashes, right?
Yeah, but they had to place their head on a bird.
Phoenix. No.
You know, a phoenix is not a real bird.
I know. Gosh, Brad.
Okay, so it's not the phoenix. Peacock or swan?
Use your scolding voice.
Felicia, you really should scold more.
It's not. We're only one day into the new year. You're already scolding me. You broke that resolution right there.
I'm starting again.
Okay.
We shall have
Swan
clean desks
vow
and-
or peacock vow?
Swan.
Well, you don't get to guess again.
Peacock.
Wait.
Good job, Michael. I knew you had it in you. And that, my friends, is the Tapa difference.
Yes.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving this place.
Okay,
Here's the wholesome music again.
Good thing you're leaving because we're out of time. I just want to wish a happy, healthy new year to all of our listeners, all 3 or 4 of you right now listening right now, we wish you a happy New Year. And also, good news for Tapa, lots of wonderful things on the horizon. We hope that you can keep and all of your New Year's resolutions as well. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Merwin Sue, Felicia.
I quit. Screw you guys, man.
I can still thank him.
Taking my pigeon and going over.
Okay.
I feel like there's like a picture of Merwin. Like, oh gosh.
Okay, well that does.
That music, I can't handle it.
I think our good radio is going down.
Okay, well that brings the episode to a close. We want to wish everybody listening, however many of you that may be, to have a wonderful. I almost said Thanksgiving. It's New Year's, right? Yeah, have a wonderful New Year's to you. Best of luck with all your New Year's resolutions. Felicia is about ready to check out, which is fine. We're at the end. It's all right. It's okay. My thanks to Zach Vassar and to Felicia Canny, as well as to our special guest, Michael Lang, for coming back and rejoining us. Thank you, Michael. There's your smattering of applause.
Yeah.
That's for you. Okay, we don't need to play the entire thing.
You're gonna just play that again later.
People are going to feel like
it's over. They'll turn it off,
exactly.
Right? If they haven't already turned it off. But I have to say that clip never gets a hold.
Oh my gosh, that was an outstanding moment.
Yeah, if we say so ourselves. Hopefully everybody else is laughing with us.
Here's the funny thing is that I forgot about all the laughter and some of the things that happened that made me laugh back then. It just made me lose it all over again now.
Yeah, we react the same way.
Yeah. And there was a point when Felicia was about to say, "I'm leaving," and then she said it on the tape. So it's perfect. At least you're consistent.
Yes, very consistent. All of us.
Be careful what you wish for, Felicia, because you said, and I went and listened to that, and I thought, well, I got to wind it back a little bit. No, I got to wind it back a little bit further, because she just wanted me to play the part where I thanked you, Merwin, even though you were not part of that podcast. That was, force of habit.
Alain, do you feel left out? You should have been thanked.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to listen to this over, like not in the studio, because you don't know what's from back then and what's now.
Oh, yeah. Right. You don't know what's happening now.
Yeah.
Well,
I know that you got the birds mixed up for the turkey for Thanksgiving also.
So
we're not very good with birds.
Basically, what you're saying is you didn't understand any of it. You had a hard time.
No, it was fun.
Yeah. But we should do a birds episode because we've really been struggling with birds all season.
Well, we can work on that over the summer.
So we small confession there. We pre-recorded that because we weren't going to all be here on New Year's Day.
Right.
So somebody asked me after that aired how many bottles of champagne we had gone through in the recording of that, because they presumed we were all hammered. And in reality, it was like 8:30 on a Monday morning in the middle of December.
And they were totally sober.
Yeah.
That's how much fun we have.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Alain, about your favorite memory of the symphony season. But before we do that, I want to play my choice for a clip. But you weren't here for the episode we did about the tuba concerto, were you, with Sam Adler? Remember that one?
Yeah, and I think our tuba player played something, right?
Yeah, the world premiere. So now you can relive it as it actually happened. Okay.
Fantastic.
Now you may not know this, but I also wrote a tuba concerto. Just to get us back on track. I wrote a tuba concerto. I have not written the orchestra part yet, but I did write the tuba part. Okay.
I'm bracing myself.
And you've got. I want you to pick up your tuba there, David, and you've got the music right there. We may have to fiddle with the microphones, but okay, go ahead and
you're gonna fiddle with the microphones or tuba with the microphones?
two bits with the
microphones. With the microphones.
You go ahead and give it a shot there. Let's hear how it sounds. Now, this is the first time he's playing, so if he makes a mistake,
So this is another world premiere. You just had to load this up, right?
On the radio. Here we go.
By
Okay.
Brad Cresswell.
All right. Here we go.
No pressure.
Yeah.
That's a daring modulation.
Yeah.
It's like sleigh ride.
There was one note I thought was just a little bit rushed.
Was it this one?
No, that one was okay. That was all right. It was the one before it.
Oh, okay.
Now, I mean, you know,
I'll get back to work.
a lifetime of work went into that concerto. But thank you. I appreciate it. World premiere, David Saltzman. I can put that on my resume. Studied with Sam Adler. Premiered tuba concerto by David Saltzman. Right?
That's a big day for you.
That's a good line.
Getting out of bed is a big day for me. Yeah, well. You got into a few good little hits there, Felicia.
Yes, I saved them all.
Save them all, let them go. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Elena. You were there. I remember. You were just speechless. That's why I thought. That's why I thought.
And you know what? She really got a good one in there. Huh? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, as music director of the symphony, you know, you are uniquely positioned to talk about. And I imagine that if I ask you, you know, do you have a favorite moment of this past season?
I thought you were going to ask him to program your tuba concerto just now.
I was getting there. I'm getting there. You know, these things take time.
I can see the segue already.
I have to finish the orchestration first. But so I'm going to ask you anyway, though, Elaine. Do you have any standout memories from this past season? Let me pull up a little music for you here. Okay.
Actually, I have quite a few, I have to say. It was my first full season, and you always have ideas and projects as music director and a plan of where you want things to go, and in your mind how much time it might take you to get there. And for some reason, we went into overdrive right at the beginning. And well, of course, the first concert where it was actually my first concert, the first concert at the 75th anniversary, and the first concert as TAPA organization that of course has the symphony, but also has the ballet. And also we started moving the orchestra on stage. Different places, and it was a lot of fun. I remember Swan Lake very well. And you know what? The piece by Christopher Dietz was so good. The orchestra played so well, and we had such a good collaboration. I felt, I already felt a sense of pride, and that was amazing. Then we went into, a few concerts later, we do a Heldenleben, and I thought, okay, we're going to do Heldenleben, and it was amazing. I was like, wow. And of course, kudos to our concertmaster, Kurt, who played amazing solos on that. And another standout was when Hadelish came back and played the Sibelius with us, a special moment for me personally, because he was the soloist in the concert where I was offered the position after. So it was very nice to see him again. And it was a special feeling because, the whole concert was good, but to play with him again, and he's such a wonderful person. Mm-hmm. And speaking of soloists, of course, Andre Watts, who comes in our renewal week. And that concert was special because the Tchaik 6, the orchestra played so well. And it's a much harder piece than people think. And, of course, Andre Watts took us on a journey. It's like we all rediscovered Grieg concerto. It's a piece we played all the time. Everybody knows it. It can get jaded a little bit. And he just took us somewhere else, and it was amazing and beautiful. What else? And then La Mer was just for the sheer playing of the orchestra. It was ridiculous. Sorry, I know I'm going to name all the concerts, right?
That's all right.
Awesome.
It's like those potato chips. You can't have just one, right?
No, but you know what? No. I'm really trying to be critical about it, and it's their fault. They play so well. What can I say? they have themselves to blame.
Yeah.
And of course, the last Mahler 2, the Saturday concert of the Mahler 2 was quite exceptional. But above all that, for me, was to get to know the people of Toledo. So the neighborhood concerts. When we were talking, all of a sudden, we started the season, and then we're in a meeting with Zach and with Merwin, and they said, "Oh, you know what? There's like 6 concerts that we don't have somebody." I said, "Oh, I'll come over." I really wanted to go around and play all these neighborhood concerts. So that was very special for me. Honestly, maybe the most special of the entire season, even though what I just named was incredibly moving musically. But to play in all these different places, I remember we played a retirement home. I had people like, a foot behind me, and they were talking to me during the Christmas show, and they know some of that repertoire, because it brings them back to the good old days. It brings them back to a time of their youth, and some of them are like 80 years old, and it's just a special moment. And the concert, I have to say, is special for me, and I have no explanation except that it was a tremendous experience. It was the Sauter Village concert.
Oh yeah, Sauter Village.
Fried chicken. They have very good fried chicken.
And I was, you know what? I was sick that day, and I said I'm not going to eat before the concert because I'm feeling really. I wasn't feeling well, and there was fried chicken. I said, oh, whatever, I'll have some fried chicken.
And it cured you.
It cured me. I felt fantastic after. It was some really good fried chicken.
It's the food that everyone remembers.
We had Gene Denovi with us. We played. The people went crazy. It was a lot of fun. They appreciated the music. I don't know. It's just a good experience, and I really felt we were sharing. And for me, I think we do our job well when we feel we share an experience. People are not just witness to what's happening, witness to greatness on stage. Why not? But that's not why I make music. Make music to share the moment, the experience of the human experience of music, and that happened a lot this year.
Yeah, I feel like we've taken a time portal and revisited the entire season. But importantly, I think what you've said, Alain, speaks to your mission and how it co-aligns with what the symphony does, which is getting out in the community and really communicating with people. And I think it's wonderful to hear you talking about that in terms of, your first real season as music director of the symphony. Zach, you have something you want to add?
It's hard to follow that.
Yeah, it is. Right? Well, I know that Alain has I'm going to play a clip from his favorite episode, right? Alain, you with me?
Oh, yeah. I'm with you.
This is, you told me you like the West Side Story episode that we did.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to pull out what Bob Clemens did for us, the West Side Story Theater. You remember that?
Oh, okay. That's my favorite of the year.
Excellent. Okay, let's give it a listen.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair New York, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean.
At which hour thou art a jet all the way, from thy first cigarette to thy last dying day. Maria, I've just hath met a wench named Maria, and suddenly your name shall never be the same to me. Tonight, all beginneth tonight. I did see thee, and the ordinary wenteth away. La 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 la. The Jets aren't gonna hast their day tonight. The Sharks are gonna hast their way tonight.
Thou poisonous bunchback's toad.
Methinkest thou art a general offense.
Thou art a boil, a plague sore.
Thine face is not worth sunburning.
Thou lump of foul deformity.
Thee have killed mine own brother. Thy brother hath killed mine own best friend. Let's runneth away together. Yes, let's. Thither's a lodging for us. Somehow. Someday. Somewhere.
Bang.
Maria. Oh, bloody hell.
Wow.
If there was ever an episode that could have used Wilhelm too.
Yes. Oh, wow.
This morning with it brings, the sun for sorrow will not show his head. For never was a story of more woe than this of Maria and her Tony O.
Oh, the SymphonyLAB players. Yeah.
When you hear how badly we snap in unison,
I was really concerned
how are we a
about that,
professional musician?
Oh,
The difference is
Lord.
that I was snapping with you. That was the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really quite impressive. Thanks to Bob Clemens,
Seriously.
He's
cellist and
fabulous.
resident thespian, who provided almost all of those voices. Although we did hear Little Merwin, Zach, and Felicia in those insults. That was fun.
Thither's lodging for us.
Yeah, we were retranslating the Bernstein and back into
That was impressive.
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But not being in the studio and just hearing it over the air, because I wasn't there for that one, was so amazing, because I didn't feel the preparation. I just had the final product,
There wasn't any preparation. Don't.
So but it's the surprise of the thing, and I never saw what Bob was going to say. And, oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like I can hear you crying over the air, Elaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zach, I want to turn it over to you. Do you want to play a clip first of your choices, or do you want to talk a little bit about favorite memories from the season?
Let's go for memories, because I remember coming into the season, I was so excited for the trio of things that we had looked forward to. It was Alain's first season and all of the magic that comes with the beginning of a new era. So as we look forward, we also had the great opportunity to look backward, in that it was our 75th anniversary, and we had, I think, done a really good job in looking to our history and finding nuggets to either program or inspire programs. And then we kicked things off with the announcement of the TAPA merger. So there's a lot of looks to the future and looks to the past. I remember when we were programming this season, there were moments in the programming conversations that we would have where I would think about the opportunity of Alain putting his fingerprints on the orchestra, but
figuratively.
That's true, figuratively. But that's something that takes time, and I wanted to make sure that we left ourselves enough oxygen to have a great 76th and 77th and 78th seasons.
Yeah. And
when you think about it, there were a couple things that happened this season that shocked me, that Alain, so early in your tenure, you were already making such extraordinary moments for our audience. And I'll never forget the Heldenleben that you also called out, simply because of the great collaboration between Kirk and with French horn as well. There were the wonderful love duet had my wife crying, had tears coming down my cheeks, and I looked down the row, and there were people just taking off their glasses and wiping their faces. And you don't forget that. I thought the La Mer was another outstanding moment where many musicians were telling me afterwards that they felt almost hypnotized in a performance. And to take an orchestra and an audience to such a special, spellbound place so quickly was really amazing. I know during West Side Story that there were people in the audience who sat through every line of the finale. Sorry, not the finale, but the final credits. And the applause that greeted the name of Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim just showed that the audience was keyed in and glued to the experience they're having. And a lot of people thought that was a real turning point, milestone for the pop series. And then, Alain, I tip the hat to you with the wonderful program you did with Gene, looking at some of the great moments in the American Songbook. And to hear you as a soloist, it's funny. I remember walking backstage and seeing Alain Trudel walk by in a blue suit, and I thought, uh-oh, he's supposed to be wearing a black suit. And I asked him about it, and he said, "Oh no, tonight I'm the soloist. I can wear whatever I want." But you showed a whole other side of yourself, and impressed me yet again. So I guess I look back with a great amount of gratitude for the excitement that you brought to our team and the successes that we've already shared.
That's wonderful. Great memories, and a tribute to you, Alain. And
well, thank you. I mean, we all do this together. I couldn't do any of this if we didn't have such a great orchestra, and if I didn't have the support of you guys. Because music directors have ideas, but if there's no there's no team to support it, and there's no support right at the top. I mean, I got lucky getting this job because I get into a team that with Zach, Merwin, with everybody, there, that we all see the same direction. We all have the same idea.
That's great. Well, from the sublime to the ridiculous, I'm going to turn to one of Zach's picks for a clip that he wanted to play from a previous episode of Toledo SymphonyLAB. And this goes back to, I think it was Christmas in November was the episode. And we had Tim Lake, who is production manager of the symphony, on talking about stuff. And it came out that he does like a Muppet voice, right? Mm-hmm. So we spent a little time trying to get him to do the Muppet voice. And eventually he launched into a Jimmy Stewart Muppet voice, right? So I think I've cut it here so we hear all the different versions of us trying to get him to talk. And then he finally does it.
But for the most part,
I was really hoping you would do a Muppet voice, but that's okay.
That's where you went to?
I was so prepared to do that.
Okay, Muppet voice test.
Well, Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yay!
Right? Okay.
You have to say.
Don't sound so excited, Tim.
I was guessing. I was scared to speak.
And you didn't even answer in the form of a question or as a Muppet.
Nope.
Yeah. I was really hoping for the Muppet voice at this point. Right. And of course, the other quote, we can all say it together. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his way. So we're just making angels here. With
Mary, we're going back to Bedford Falls.
Yeah. Okay, this one is difficult.
This is Jimmy Stewart. We're all going to do Jimmy Stewart from here on.
No, we're not. Yeah, I was going to say, if you can do a Muppet version of Jimmy Stewart, you win the podcast today.
Mary, where?
What? You can't do that, Zach. You're just talking now. Sorry. No, that wasn't good. I thought that was pretty good.
I thought that was excellent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We should boost that sad trombone up an octave.
Okay.
Wow. This is how technology gets abused, kids.
That's right. I think that's the one and only time that we played sad trombones and octaves there.
Good job, Alain.
Yeah, that's right. That was Alain playing the sad trombone. So we're going to continue with the podcast version and talk about a few more of our favorite moments. But Alain, I know that you have to go. I want to thank you for joining us by phone and sharing some of your favorite memories with us. And we really look forward to, the next 75 years of Toledo Symphony, which, this is the Trudell era. So it's wonderful to be witness to that.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And Brad, it's such a joy to do this podcast with you. You're so good. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And I'm sorry I have to go. I would love to stay, reminisce on this, what was a wonderful season. And I felt really welcome in Toledo.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Now Elaine's gone. If you have anything else you want to say that we didn't want him to hear. Unless, unless he downloads the podcast, of course. But we have a few more things that we want to talk about. We didn't get to your favorite moment, Merwin. Do you want to do a favorite clip first, or you want to do a favorite moment first? What tracks well for you?
It was actually really, I'm kind of glad this is the podcast version, because following the three of you guys it would have been so difficult. So I'm glad that it's only the diehard fans who are listening to this. But
why don't you give us a favorite symphony moment first?
Yeah, I think the Ein Heldenleben concert was talked about a lot. I'm actually going to think about the first half of that, because I was thrilled to be playing with the Toledo Symphony Youth Orchestra colleagues on that concert. And that was something that was, a huge endeavor for the TSYO, for the TSO production team, definitely for the TSO musicians on stage. And it was definitely a risk. I think that, it was something that, it's not always done in a Masterworks program, but it really speaks to how meaningful education is and community outreach is to the mission of the orchestra, and to really have that be visible and at the front of everything that we do. I thought that was a very meaningful statement for Alain to do, and I really enjoyed being a part of it. from something very, very large to something a lot smaller. Sometimes a chamber music concert kind of sneaks up on you as something that's really, really special. And for me, playing the Dvorak Piano Quintet with Francis Renzi and Kirk Toth and Martha Raiko and Valentin Raguzitu that was a real high point for me. Probably one of the best things that we played as a group, and really, really loved that. A personal highlight was when Queen Latifah wished me happy birthday. That was a cool thing.
Nice.
And then the Mahler second, I mean, so many people have mentioned it, but I do want to share something that happened during the dress rehearsal. A member of our sections that just mentioned, the beginning of the symphony, it's just such a, I just can't get this out of my head. And I was like, well, of course. And he's like, no, it goes, do, 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 do. I'm like, oh, no, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. And so, of course, the Mexican hat dance is coursing through my head. And of course, I told Ellen about it.
Oh, no.
And so during the concerts, that was the one time we were studiously not looking at each other at any moment.
That was my musicological analysis, you remember.
Of course, right? Yes,
it went from Die Walküre to the Mexican hat dance in the space of a few measures.
Yes.
That's the genius of Mahler right there.
The genius of Mahler. He creates a world. And everything is part of that world.
Exactly. Quite a world.
Quite a world.
What a world.
What a wonderful world.
Now you have to do it in a Muppet voice. Now, Merwin, I'm sorry, did you want to continue with that?
That's what I got. Yeah.
You mentioned the side-by-side concert with Toledo Youth Symphony Orchestra, and one of your students, Shreyas.
Absolutely.
Right? Shreyas Banerjee. Mm-hmm. And he was our guest for that episode. It was the superhero episode. Remember, we had the superhero quiz and all that stuff. And I asked you for some favorite clips, and I asked you for some favorite clips, and you said you liked the Undiscovered episode and the Desert Island Disc episode, but you also gave me a little wiggle room and said, well, you could always play, my student Shreyas talking about me during the superhero episode. So that's where we are right now. So you're a violinist, longtime student of Merwin.
Yes.
When he actually sent me an email saying you were going to be here, one of the stipulations was that you don't tell stories about him as a teacher. So let's start by telling some stories about Merwin.
Okay.
I have stories in reserve. just letting you know.
I don't know. Most of the embarrassing stories are from like years ago. One time he was extremely frustrated at my bowing, so he just grabbed a little red ball from his desk and threw it at me.
Really?
And then
it was a stress ball. I was stressed. I thought that's what they were for.
Shreyas, I have a question. Did it change your bowing?
No.
Not markedly for the better.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Well, we have removed all red balls from the room. No stress balls here, as far as I know, unless you brought your own. Yeah. I mean, he brings in Timbits sometimes, so we have to watch out for that.
Which are stress balls of a different kind.
Exactly. Good one, Zach. That was awfully quick.
That's very true.
Yeah. I haven't seen those Timbits in a while, though. I have to say.
Why.
Well.
Yeah. Well, Merwin, I remember Shreyas also talking about, like, we of course, it was a superheroes episode, so we had to talk about Merwin being part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe because he was in the Avengers movie. Didn't Shreyas say you have, like, a poster for it up on your wall?
I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For some reason, we didn't make the poster. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah. Although I think we should redo that poster and put, like, the quartet up there, right?
We'll do that next.
Totally. That should be like your social media backdrop, right? Definitely.
That's how I introduced you to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, he's Canadian and he was in the Avengers.
That's
my most salient point.
I
feel like that's my role on the podcast as well. Yeah. Resident Canadian.
Oh, and then I also throw in
movie
and a genius.
Oh, that's right. Remember that
from
when
Janet
we had
Amid.
Yeah. Janet Amid, the astrologer, talking about what a genius you were. And I had gas, right? Yeah. Okay. I think that was a favorite clip from last season. But I want to turn over the next couple of minutes to another one of Felicia's favorite clips. And this has to do with our Star Wars episode. I know that was a favorite for you as well, Zach. But this one actually involves Zach and one of his stories. Okay, let me pull this up here.
If you saw this for the first time in a theater or at the Huntington Center,
Yeah, you should go see it at the Huntington Center.
it changes your concept of the film entirely.
Is that no? Was this before or after you tried to kill John Williams?
That was before. That was before.
Yeah.
I tried to kill John Williams in 2004, I think.
With your car?
Yeah.
With my car. Yeah. It was
That's like a movie plot right there. Killing John Williams. You'd like have to go back in time.
starring John
With
Malkovich.
John Malkovich
Yeah.
to play you.
You could be like, find a way to stop The Last Jedi from being created. We don't have a composer. Okay.
We need the Wilhelm scream for this.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us the story.
But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, story
Zach,
time.
now you did try to. You didn't
Well,
try
I
to
didn't
kill him,
intend
but
to.
you had, yeah.
So
Vehicular
you've
homicide
accidentally
has some
hit him
intent.
with a car? I've done that.
No, I did not hit him. I was racing to.
If you say, "I've done
meeting
that
with
before."
the Handel and Haydn Society, so this gets even dorkier.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I was running late, and I tried to get around a traffic backup in downtown Boston by racing through the little tiny side streets that surround the Boston Common. And in doing so, I was going way too fast. Like, imagine 80 miles an hour on a one-lane narrow street that was only about a block and a half long.
That's what
Sounds
happens
like-
when you hit those land speeders.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And up at the intersection, where I had to make a very quick right in order to beat the traffic that was coming on, there was an old gentleman who had one foot out as if he were going to cross the street, and a handler next to him who basically goes around him from behind and lifts him back onto the curb because this maniac in a car was about to mow him down. And that maniac was me, and I look up, and it's John Williams.
Wow. Was
A
this?
guy
Are you
that
sure?
I've looked up to my entire life.
Did you like lean out of the window and hi, Mr. Williams? I gotta get my hand on the Haydn Society.
That sounds just like Zach.
I was going to say.
Way to make fun of my speech impediment.
I was putting it back to when you were a kid.
So the
It'd be
punchline
great
is
if you were like, you could do your Jar Jar Binks thing out the window.
this is what you get, Jar Jar.
You'd be like, almost killed you, I did.
I'll try harder next time.
Yeah.
No, it was,
You need to embellish that story. a
no.
little
So I
bit.
get to H&H, and I said, guys, I'm so sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. I almost
H&H.
killed.
This is just like Skull and Bones.
And the guys at Handel and I said, I almost killed John Williams on my way here, and they just look at me without skipping a beat, and they blink, and they say, why did you stop?
Oh, but he's
I don't like the H&H's.
Boo on H&H.
Did you quit?
No. He had taken a blood oath. You
No,
can't
was
quit.
this-
No one quits the H&H. I can pull you
That's
back
what it says
in.
on the way into the concert.
You are going to get into a lot of trouble.
Was this before or after The Last Jedi?
Before.
Before, yeah. See, could have changed history right there. Yeah. That was magnificent. Tony Geftis was with us for that particular
I
episode.
just love how he was doing all the sound effects in the back. I mean,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
how to
the
do
amount
that.
of fun he had just making noise into the microphone beyond saying some really wonderful things.
I think you guys have to design your next season around Tony's favorites so we can have him come back.
Well, I think we've had some great guests this year. We had Tony. Certainly, it was just a pleasure to work with in every way that we work with him as an MC, as a radio co-host. He gives us some great publicity on the television as well.
Yeah.
But also thinking about Effie from Bowling Green.
I was going to name
we
her.
had
Right.
just two very, very special visits with her and talking very sincerely about music. And, I got to say, I mean, I don't have a degree in music history. I have a fascination with it. When I sit on this program and I have Effie next to me on the microphone, I feel like I'm not worthy. I don't belong alongside her. She's just brilliant and just a great colleague. So
Yeah.
And her voice is spectacular.
yeah.
Her accent.
Yeah. So, Effie, if you're listening, it's all good. Right? Except, I just make things up and run them past her because I like her reactions.
What about this?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, I have one more clip. If you have a few minutes and you want to hang out for it, that I would like to play, which was one of my favorites. Which remember the Halloween podcast that we did, and we had sort of an extended version of it. It's still up there online where we tell different ghost stories.
I do remember this.
Yeah.
How did I forget this?
How could I forget this?
And I really was like absorbed by Zach's ghost story. It really pulled me in. I thought it'd be fun to kind of listen to that and enjoy your storytelling talents, Zach. Let me find it here. Here we go. I added a little music. Set the scene.
All right, so turn down the lights.
Oh, I should have done that.
Lean in closer. Come on.
Hang on, I'll go turn down the lights.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's actually turning down the lights. Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah. Okay, so my story, this is true. Just enough creepy to be similar to real life, but not quite right. So, my wife and I are having dinner. We're at Rockwell's down at the Oliver House, a famously haunted building. I've never seen a ghost there. A lot of people have. So, I, in the middle of a really fun night with a bunch of friends, I excuse myself and I go to the men's room. Tiny little room. And I'm in this small little room and the lights go out. And it's one of these rooms that has, the motion activated light fixtures. And I move my arms around, nothing happens. So I'm starting to feel across the wall to get to the entrance. And every time I touch the wall, the lights kind of glow up a little bit and then they go down. So I touch the wall, lights go up a little bit, and it's just like a little flicker, almost like they're like a 5-watt bulb. Mm-hmm. Every time I touch the wall, just a little bit, let go and it goes dark. This is really freaking me out. And I get to the light switch and I'm just about to hit it, and the thing lights up bright and then goes dark, completely black again. And I reach for the door because now I've seen it. And as soon as my hand touches the handle, it pulls in. The lights go on completely. And I let go, and the door swings shut. And as soon as the door closes, the lights go out entirely. And all I want to do now is get the hell out of that room.
Wow.
And, of course, I touch the handle again. Lights come back on.
Emily.
And I open at the door, and I go right through it. And I look behind me as the door is closing. The lights are out again, and the door closes behind me. And I get back to the table, and I tell them what just happened. And they didn't believe me. They said, "Oh, it's a motion-activated light. It didn't, something weird was going on." And I know in my heart of hearts that something was not right in that room at that time. And I still get little shivers whenever I'm back in that area.
Yeah. What was this? Where was this again?
At the Oliver House, downtown, which is itself... Yeah, that guy was there too. It was a hotel. It was right next to the train station in Old Toledo. And during, I think, the Spanish-American War, it briefly served as an army hospital. So there are some angry ghosts who apparently haunt that building.
Wow, great story. I think that, next year for Halloween, you guys should have a haunted house at the Peristyle or something like that. You know what I mean? People have to go through, and you know how you, like they used to have haunted houses and where you'd have to stick your hand into a box and you didn't know what it was. You could have
peeled grapes. And they were,
yeah.
Discarded
eyeballs.
reeds.
I was going to say.
These are fingernails.
Like wet and slimy, old discarded reeds.
Spaghetti noodles.
Oh, wonderful.
I think we prefer our audience to be alive.
Yeah, right. But it's Halloween, doesn't matter. Anybody have any last word on the season that we've just completed? This is our penultimate episode. There's still another episode next week that'll wrap up our season for this year. But in terms of what we've done either with SymphonyLAB or with the symphony itself, how do you...
I'd just like to say thank you to you and everybody at WGTE Public Media. This has been our second season. It's a great pleasure to work with you, Brad. I know that preparing this is not as simple as simply writing a quiz, which you're very good at. But this is an endeavor that every week we commit to doing a different show. And somehow we make it work with all of our schedules. And it's just a privilege to see your creative juices flow. It's great.
Well, thank you. And the feeling is definitely mutual.
And it's incredibly fun. I think I love starting my week off here at the studio, just gathering with friends to talk about nerdy subjects. it's incredibly fun. It's a highlight of my week.
Now you know the difference between Luke Skywalker and Han Solo.
Yes,
right?
I've learned so much.
Yeah, totally. Well, that brings this podcast to a close, and this program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony. You can download episodes of our program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. My thanks to Zach Vassar, Merwin Sue, and Felicia Canny. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo SymphonyLAB from FM 91.